Brooklyn Park Police are seeing what they call a troubling trend. There have been 5 shots fired incidents either on or near Brookdale Drive this year. One of the shootings happened last Thursday. Police say it's concerning to have that number of cases in such a concentrated area. To combat the problem, Brooklyn Park Police installed cameras along Brookdale Drive. Citywide, the number of shots fired incidents are slightly down for the month of October. There have been 7 shots fired cases for the month compared to 11 in October of last year. Hennepin Technical College is launching a new program to help students become better police officers. It's the only program of its kind in the metro area. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on the innovative course.
Hennepin Technical College is giving future police officers a chance to experience real-life scenarios.
Hey, sir, police officers.
Recently, the college upgraded its video-based training system.
This is my home.
Okay.
This simulator has more than 300 emergency situations.
We can help you move your stuff if you'd like,
Including active shooter incidents and mental health crises.
When he stood up there and clenched his fist, thought it might be escalating. Drop what's in your hands now.
Students also get to see what happens when the unexpected occurs. During the training, students are armed with an imitation taser, fake mace, and gun.
Sir, get back!
The simulator also shows exactly where the bullets hit.
So if you see the dot right here, that's where the officer, when he did use force, is where the person ended up getting shot.
The instructor can change the scenario based on how the students respond.
There'll be a bunch of branching options that they could use or do, where they can comply if they're doing well, if they're not.
we're just here to try and help you out, sir.
The goal of each scenario is de-escalation,
We're staying right here for now.
when the use of force is necessary, and ways to use less lethal options.
As soon as you put it into real life and real time, you have to be able to make those decisions quicker, and you have to make sure you don't over-escalate it.
In addition to the simulator, Hennepin Tech is starting a new Peace Officer and Public Service Associate degree program.
The student will start here and they'll finish here. With other schools in the metro area, they start their degree, then they have to transfer here to finish their degree.
Students we spoke with say they're excited to become police officers.
The only way to really build that bridge back between the community and the officers is to have more people with the right intentions.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
It's the state's 3rd largest industry employer, and it's also an industry in desperate need of workers. The manufacturing industry provides more than 310,000 jobs in the state, or 11% of the state's workforce. However, state officials say there are 4 job openings for every person applying. That wide gap is forcing the industry to make changes. According to Steve Kalina with the Plymouth-based Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association, automation is not replacing people, it's replacing jobs the industry can't fill. And he says that's changing the nature of manufacturing work.
Instead of having a machinist sit and inspect or sit and load and unload things like that, it's okay, the machinist is focusing on the programming or the or running the automation or problem solving, and then the automation is taking care of the rest. So I mean, obviously, it's a big selling point for us in that now we can pay more for those jobs because it's a higher concentration of value add and just better rewarding.
During a roundtable discussion Monday hosted by the State Department of Employment and Economic Development, manufacturers also spoke about how they want to see skills reintroduced in high school for students who may not be considering a 4-year college. The last day of October brought us beautiful weather, but it also marks a period of clear skies and no rain.
Unfortunately, it's the driest September, October that I've had in my record going back to the mid-50s. So it's incredibly dry, which is unfortunate.
Weather watcher Steve Reckers keeps tabs on the weather from his New Hope backyard. He says the past 2 months have been the driest in the last 60 years. However, on a positive note, this will be the warmest Halloween in 22 years with no wind, one that's perfect for trick-or-treaters.
We like it like this. I know the trick-or-treaters like it like this. This is as good as it can get at October 31st. This is fantastic.
It is pretty unusual to get snow on Halloween. The Minnesota DNR says, and I quote, "It's about as rare as getting a full-size candy bar in your trick-or-treat bag." It's one of the busiest times of year for food drives, and New Hope's The Food Group saw one of the largest food donations of the year come in from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Two of the commandments that we feel are most important are to love God and love our neighbor. And this is really one of those ways that our members and friends have the opportunity to go out and do that in our own community.
More than 45 LDS congregations collected more than 8,000 pounds of food. They also collected more than 500 boxes filled with basic essentials like flour, rice, and vegetable oil. The donation was welcomed at the food group in New Hope on Friday.
A lot of the food shelves we partner with, donations have been historically low, and so families are even in more of a higher need when they can't rely on the food shelves that have been fitting that need.
The food group will be sending this food out to local food shelves. They work with more than 200 food shelves in 32 counties. The Robbinsdale Cooper Marching Hawks are bringing their music indoors for their annual indoor fundraiser concerts. This is the 7th year for the fundraiser concert and the first time they've had it since the pandemic. Students will play selections from Panic at the Disco, Bruno Mars, as well as Earth, Wind and Fire, all inside the auditorium on November 5th. Money raised goes toward buying new instruments.
With more students renting instruments, what we're finding overall is that our instrument inventory is just getting very tired. And what this event does is it helps provide us with money to buy new instruments, because I don't feel like money should be a barrier to playing a quality instrument.
Money will be earned from ticket sales as well as a silent auction. You can find out more online. We'll leave you now with more from the show.
After a 6-0 start, the Armstrong football team lost its last 2 regular season games. The Falcons look to get back on track as they open postseason play in the semifinal round of the Section 5 5A playoffs. Jay Wilcox has the highlights.
Top seed Armstrong hosting 4th seed St. Louis Park in the Section 5 5A football semifinals. St. Louis Park strikes early as Zach Helfman rolls right and finds Stefano Giovanelli. He turns up the sideline and is gone for a 74-yard TD to make it 7-0. He later adds an 81-yard score. Armstrong responds a minute and a half later. Jamin Malone steps up and hits Marquand Tucker for a 32-yard touchdown, and it's 7-7. After the team's trade scores, Reggie Carter takes the pitch, gets some good blocks, and he shows his speed down the sideline. He scores a 66-yard touchdown. It's the second of 4 on the day for Carter. Still in the first quarter, Malone looks deep for Tucker, and he hauls it in. It's 27-13 Armstrong after a wild first quarter, and the Falcons go on to win 62-31. They'll host Cooper in the section final. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Class 6A football playoffs are structured a little differently. All 32 teams opened the playoffs last Friday night, including unbeaten Maple Grove. Top-ranked Maple Grove football opening the Class 6A playoffs at home against Hopkins. Opening drive of the game for the Crimson. Senior running back Jordan Alagbashu takes the handoff and runs 16 yards down to the Royals' 2-yard line. He would score a couple of plays later. Next Hopkins possession. Pressure on the quarterback, and the throw is picked off. Max Johnson runs it back 28 yards for a touchdown. Maple Grove scoring early and often, and it's 14-0. Then Maple Grove back on offense. Jacob Kilzer throws a fade to Dylan Vocal in the corner of the end zone. A 10-yard touchdown, and the Crimson are rolling up 20-0. Another interception for Maple Grove's defense here. Jacob Urbanek picks off the pass, drops the ball, picks it back up, and brings it all the way down to the Hopkins 5-yard line. It set up another Kilzer to Vocal TD. Later in the first quarter, Kilzer on the run. He gets to the edge and to the pylon for a 10-yard touchdown. Kilzer runs for 3 scores and throws for 2 more. Maple Grove goes on to win 67-0. The Crimson are now 9-0 and host Forest Lake Friday night. In Maple Grove, John Jacobson, CCX Sports. The Wayzata football team won its last 2 regular season games to get to 4-4. They had an impressive showing in the opening round of the Class 6A playoffs. Jay Wilcox has more.
Lambert Brown and Wayzata playing at St. Michael Albertville in the first round of the Class 6A football playoffs. STMA's first drive ends well. The fake to Connor Longben, and then Will Bartle throws to a wide-open Longben for the touchdown. It's 7-0 Knights after 1. Early in the second, Wayzata's Cole Heilbrunn with the play fake, and he hits Ford Griffith on the slant to tie the game up at 7-7. Nate Stevie hits 2 field goals in the second to help the Trojans to a 13-7 halftime lead over STMA. Late in the third quarter, Dion Lovelace has a nice gap to run through, and he scores from 5 yards out to stretch Wayzata's lead to 19-7. First play of the fourth, and Heilbrunn throws a strike over the top to Tyler Milkus. Wayzata rolls to a 33-13 win over St. Michael Albertville. They'll face unbeaten Rosemount Friday. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.